Ancient Egypt, 1500 BCE. The city is still dark, still silent, but inside the temple, a high priest is already moving. He has not spoken to anyone. He has not eaten. He walks alone through a stone corridor toward the eastern gate. He steps outside. He stops. He faces the horizon. And at the precise moment, the first line of light appears. He begins to sing a hymn to the sun god Ra. In 2017, the Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded for the discovery of the molecular mechanisms behind the body's internal clock. Building on this foundation, neuroscientists have revealed exactly what happens when morning light hits the human eye. Specialized cells in the retina send a direct signal to the master circadian clock in the hypothalamus. That single input sets the cortisol peak that drives alertness, clears residual sleep hormones, and calibrates the hormonal sequence for the next 24 hours. One signal, the entire hormonal architecture of your day locked in. Sparta, 800 BCE. Pre-dawn twilight. A harsh stone courtyard. A young Spartan warrior wakes, silently walks over to a stone basin of cold water, and pours it over himself without hesitation. Not a single muscle in his face twitches. This wasn't exceptional behavior. This was every morning. Plutarch documented it in his account of the Spartanagoge, the training system that shaped every Spartan from childhood. And only now does science show what that practice was actually doing. Controlled studies on cold water immersion have measured what it does to the human nervous system. Norepinephrine, the neurotransmitter that drives focus, sustained attention, and mood, rises approximately 5 times above baseline. The effect persists for several hours after the exposure ends. The body is now awake. What do you do with that activation? Japan, Edo period, the 4 a.m. pre-dawn fog. A samurai stands alone in his courtyard holding a wooden sword. Complete silence. A sharp strike forward, reset, another strike. Perfect precision. Not for an hour, not until exhaustion. A short, focused, intensely committed sequence. Then it was done. The Hagakure, written in 1716, reflects the samurai ideal of total discipline and readiness. Brief, intense morning movement was part of that ideal. In 2023, researchers at the University of Otago published findings in the Journal of Physiology. 6 minutes of high-intensity movement raises circulating BDNF levels, the protein linked to neuron growth and cognitive performance, 4 to 5 times above resting levels. The body has been activated. The brain chemistry is primed. Now, what do you do with a mind that is finally ready?
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Ancient India, 4th century CE. Early morning, a quiet hall, dimly lit. The morning movement practice has just ended. A practitioner walks to a corner of the room. He sits on the floor. He closes his eyes. He begins to breathe slowly, each exhale longer than the inhale. The body is warm. The mind, which had been occupied with physical effort, begins to settle, not forced, arriving naturally, like dirt settling at the bottom of a glass of water. Ancient Ayurvedic and yogic traditions encoded this sequence into daily life. The principle was explicit: move from the gross to the subtle. Activate the body first. The mind follows. Silence cannot be forced. It has to be earned. In 2011, a team at Harvard Medical School used MRI to track structural changes in the brain after 8 weeks of mindfulness training. The hippocampus, memory and learning, grew denser. The amygdala, stress and fear reactivity, shrank. Not reported feelings, physical changes to brain tissue in 8 weeks. China, 500 CE. The morning meditation has ended. A monk walks into the dining hall in complete silence. He sits. He unwraps his bowl slowly. He looks at what is in it. He breathes in the smell. He takes one slow breath. Then, and only then, he eats. Shan monastic codes preserved across centuries document this ritual in detail. The monks understood that attention itself is a tool, and that how you begin eating determines what eating does to your body. And only now does science explain the mechanism. Research on the cephalic phase response has shown that the sight and smell of food alone, before the first bite, triggers an early hormonal response in the body. Separately, studies on sensory food signals have found that the brain begins signaling metabolic changes in the liver before anything has been swallowed. The monk who paused and looked at his food was activating his digestive system. What they practiced in 500 CE, science is still mapping today. 5 civilizations, 5 rituals. Somehow, the ancients already knew what science is only just proving.